Girl, you got some tea?
Girl, with the honey and the sugar.
Nah, we gonna need some wine for this one.
Well, wine me, please.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Wine Me Please podcast. And y'all, we got us a special guest today. I found this man on the street named Jarvis. Say what's up to the people.
What's up, people? Jarvis, Shaniqua husband.
A lie.
He had to throw that in there. He had to make sure
A
y'all
lie.
knew who he was.
I found him on the street. Y'all don't listen
He not
to
on
him.
the street. He said what he said.
Now, y'all know, welcome mommy on this show, y'all. We back with another episode. Y'all, we are still in the second series talking about interpersonal relationships. And this, we gonna get a little bit of Jarvis' opinion about, like, marriage and social media and relationships and stuff like that. You ready for it?
Oh, I'm ready. Let's get it.
You won't sit up every time you talk.
Yeah, I'm ready.
But you know what they said, when you lean forward, you can, hey, he gonna
Standing on business.
I'm with it. I'm here for the come through for standing on business. But y'all know how we do it. First, we got to talk about our wine of the show, okay, of the episode. So today, we are drinking Florility French Rosé. Y'all, this is a vegan-friendly wine. So for all y'all vegan lovers, here we go. Let me tell y'all about it. It is a fresh and crisp rosé with no sugar added. Okay. Notes of strawberry, rose petals, and fresh citrus. Okay. Enjoy as an appetizer with fresh salads and grilled seafood. Best served chilled. And to go along with our French rosé vegan wine, we got us some spinach and artichoke dip on bruschetta bread. Okay, so y'all ready for this? You ready?
I'm ready.
Yes.
First, let me give you so you can just sit it there if you want. Okay, and then I'm gonna pour us up our wine. All right. Okay.
I just like the way that sounded pouring. I don't know. It just had a nice, crisp sound already, you know.
Now it sound like this some rich
It
shit.
sound cold. Like it
But
sound
y'all know
crisp.
I got it from Aldi. Y'all know we get it from the discount. You know, okay. Hold that. Okay, everybody's ready.
Yeah.
You gonna swirl it, smell
Ooh, it smells
it.
good. No,
I like
I
that.
think I like it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, it says it's
Actually,
made with some
no.
organic grapes.
I was gonna say actually I do like, and I'm not a big rosé person because rosé just too strong for me. But
Jarvis, what
It's got
you
a
think?
nice smooth taste to it. Not too overpowering, not too light. It's like right back in the middle. I like that.
yeah, it has a nice balance where it's not so strong because usually rosé is like really strong.
Yeah,
to me.
it's not like really strong. It is a little balanced. And it's 12% alcohol because I know you want to know your percentage.
You have to know the percentage.
Have to know the percentage.
Oh, yeah. It's got to be a certain percentage because anything other than that is just juice.
What are we doing?
And I know that's right.
What are we doing?
Don't
Why are
nobody-
we here?
Don't know about it. You know, I'm just saying. Okay, let's taste one of our little artichoke dip. Now I didn't get fancy this time. I didn't make the artichoke dip.
Oh, I
this
thought
time.
she made it from scratch because you know my girl be. Buttery.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd you get the artichoke from?
I'm trying to think. Because it was good, wasn't it?
It was good. I was like, where you get that?
That was good.
I think I got it from Pete's.
Okay. Yeah, I ain't got one of those by me, but I'm a stop by
Yeah, stop by. You know, just come out by my house. We got all the good stuff.
all the time.
Yeah, that was good.
That was real good.
How did y'all like it paired with this wine?
I think that's what it like, because it's a very fresh taste, right? And
Mhm.
so the bruschetta with the dip, it has a fresh taste too.
Well, I guess the
so it has
toasted bruschetta bread.
it has like a fresh. You don't feel guilty afterwards.
That part.
Fresh and light.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely is a good pairing, good combination of the two. So you're able to eat the bruschetta with the artichoke dip, keep it light, still tasty. Then you got the wine, got a very citrusy, also light. I like it. It's got a great summer vibe to it.
Yeah. And you know how when you hosting parties and stuff too, I feel like we overthink like
Yeah.
little finger foods for people. This would be
Absolutely.
good for like a nice
Absolutely.
summer dish.
Absolutely. So, y'all know, y'all heard from the peoples. This is a good little party favor. Not party favor. What's that?
Like
Hors d'oeuvre.
Yep, hors d'oeuvre.
Party hors d'oeuvre. And there you go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. Let's get into it. Let's get into this. So, for some of y'all who don't know, again, this is my husband, okay, Jarvis. And we've been married for, 3 years.
Whoop, whoop.
3 years coming up.
It's been 3 years, baby. It's okay. It's okay.
I was gonna say y'all both remember the date, right?
Oh, we remember that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the easy
Okay.
part. Nah, the year I don't be knowing. What is so funny is when this episode airs, it will in fact be our anniversary.
Aww.
Yes,
Aw,
it will.
that's so
I just looked at our
sweet.
schedule. It will
Aw.
actually. So happy anniversary to us.
Happy anniversary to
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
I love Black
Shout out to
love.
us.
Yes,
Shout out to
I
us.
love
Happy
Black love.
anniversary.
I'm a huge supporter of Black.
And I didn't even
cheers to
plan
y'all.
that. Right?
Hold on.
Cheers.
Cheers to y'all. Because this is what this is about.
I didn't even plan it that way. I just picked some stuff.
Look at the universe be working. You know I be talking. The universe be working.
Be working. Okay. So, on the last episode, Candace and I was talking about just like generational trauma amongst family and then like how you navigate that and things of that sort. So, because today's episode, we're going to pivot in a couple of different ways, but I want to start there, right? When you think about like your upbringing and any generational traumas that you were privy to, how do you feel like it affect you, if any way, right? If you had any generational traumas, because everybody don't gotta go through trauma, right? But how do you feel like that may have affected you as an individual, and then like as you was preparing to enter into like a marriage?
I know, right?
That is a very deep question.
We ain't preparing
That's
for that. Like,
I ain't even prepare myself for it. Okay,
They just pushed me off in the deep end. I was like, all right,
got it.
swim.
I be trying to teach you. Here you go.
So, generational trauma is definitely something that's passed down, handed down, but you also can see it for yourself. You know, just going back to my parents were born in the 50s and 60s. So at that time, you know, we had different laws. Segregation was just about ending and all of that stuff. So they were brought up at a different time. Going back to when their parents were right in the heart of Jim Crow law, segregation and all that, especially for black people in America. So it's definitely one of those things where you see growing up like, okay, and now my parents were married. My parents have been married almost 35, 40 years. So and you also see like their trials and tribulation of how they were able to grow together, be able to work things out. You basically were able to see, it's almost like a cheat code. Like, say, if I do want to get married, okay, I know I can take this from them. Okay, I know I can do this better. This is something that I need to work on. You see it for yourself, and it allows you to be able to get more of a clear eye view of how you want things in your marriage to look like when you get older. So I know one of the things that I also have to work on that I've seen is communication. Once a couple that has great communication and trust, they're able to work together and do things and be able to make it work for them. But if you don't have that communication and that trust and that honesty, things can falter. And so it also takes that time to be able to, if it does falter or it goes less, it takes time to be able to build that back up. So you also have to keep in mind of that. Also, being selfless. You know, once you are selfless, you're thinking about another person. If you got kids, you got to think about them. So it's a lot of being selfless and sacrificing, and you see all of that. And for some people, the reward is great. They love it. Some people, they may not love it. So it's just all about being able to tackle it, see how you want it to be fit, and doing all that.
Did you see those things growing up, like as you watched your parents throughout their marriage? Like, because I heard you say like communication is one thing that you're working on. Did you see like that was that a struggle in your parents' marriage? You know, without putting too much in their business out, like, did you see like it was a little rift there?
Absolutely. It was communication was good, but it could have been better. Just being able to be all on one accord, being able to communicate amongst them, it would definitely make things a lot easier. You see, I see that just from being their marriage, and I also see that from being in my marriage. Communication helps. It makes things a lot easier, a lot smoother. So that way you both know what you have at stake and what you have to do to work there, and also carrying out that plan.
I've seen people say this quote, people raised on trauma can't be with someone who raised on love or something like that. You seen that quote? Like, how do you guys feel about that?
Say that one more time.
Is it, you know what I'm talking about?
I know, yeah.
People raised on trauma can't be with someone raised on love or something like that. It was along those lines of basically that upbringing, like people that have healthy parents growing up and have a different perspective than those who have grown up like maybe with divorce or trauma in their family or whatever, who haven't seen that. How do you guys feel about that?
Definitely, I agree with that.
I don't necessarily agree with that 100%. I can see both sides of it, right? Because we were raised totally different, right? He was raised in a 2-parent household, right? I wasn't. And so that's traumatic within itself, and in different ways, right? And so different things that I learned growing up, being that independent Black woman, you got to do everything yourself, all the other stuff. And he was raised like, you got parents to do it for you, and like we could do it together and have as a team, like. And we talk about this all the time, like that was one of our struggles of like, okay, finding that balance, right? Like, I could do this. I don't need nobody to help me. Not that I don't need a man, because I need my man. Yeah. I just don't need help with whatever I'm doing. And he's like, I can.
But you don't have to do it by yourself. Exactly. And he's teaching you that you don't have to do it by yourself.
Exactly, because he was raised to see that, like, you don't have to do it by yourself. I was raised, it was just us, me and my mama. So I gotta do this by myself, right? And so, like, some things we could joke about it, right? Because, like, I always tease him because he's not a handyman. That ain't his life. But he grew up privileged enough not to be a handyman. Right. That's okay. Yeah. I'm a handy woman, baby. I'm fixing everything. Right. And so like that's one of those things that for some people that's a deal breaker, right? For me, I just be like, I don't care.
But that's part of that raised on trauma part that I feel like that you like you're secure. You've had to like find that balance of you being secure enough to be able to do that. And also I feel like the mindset people have with that is like, that's a privilege to grow up and have a successful Black family to like shelter you from things you don't have to do. That's the purpose, that's the goal. Right. And then you look at people and you're like, well, how come you don't know how to? No, because I had that support. That's why I don't have to do it by myself. And that's the generational trauma I feel like you guys are breaking by doing that.
Exactly. Absolutely. And I mean, that's the goal anyway, is to break those traumas at all times. Because he was raised in a 2-parent household, but that doesn't mean it was a perfect 2-parent household. Right. Exactly. They still had issues that had to overcome like any family would. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And affecting him in the ways that it did. Actually, I don't know if you was going to ask something. Were you about to ask something? I was about to ask this really quick. I know you talked about some of the things that you saw like your parents like struggle with navigating with, and you was like, okay, I want to be different in this way, or I want to do that differently. What is something that you feel like you took from your parents that was like good, and you was like, I want to exemplify that exact same thing with my own little sauce to it in my marriage?
Just the work ethic. The work ethic that it takes to be
got really good work ethic.
Very good as far as being on like doing their own, like doing their jobs and how they do things. Like if you need something done, my parents gonna do it. They gonna work together. They gonna do it. And also being able to continue to work on their marriage and continue to grow. Like, hey, you know what? One of those things, like, just because you are married doesn't mean you're always going to like the person that you're married. Right, like, there's going to be days where you're like, man, you got on my nerves today. But you know what?
Indeed.
I still love you. I'm still here going to look out for you. I'm still, it is things of that. Yeah. Like being able to continue to be able to love that person, even when you're mad at them, they annoy you, and you're pissed off and tired, all of that, like being able to, that's part of why I stay aware. Said selfless comes in. It's like, you know what, you care so much about this person that you like, you can't picture your life without them. So you be able to try to help them in any way that you can, which also helps you on the back end. So it's that one of those things that I've seen that my parents have done really good, that I was like, you know what? I want that in my marriage.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you like me.
I don't like you. I love you.
I think people forget sometimes, like, love, you after the warm and fuzzy feeling, like, there's things that are a choice that you have
Absolutely.
to
You choose
to
every
get
day.
up and, like, accept things.
Mhm.
You choose to give grace. You choose to have difficult conversations. And you have to decide, like, is this the person I want to have these difficult moments with?
Right.
And people forget that part of, like, they would expect
do.
it to be easy all the time, and
They
it's
do.
not.
It really is a choice.
Especially in our generation.
Mm-hmm.
They always think that, oh, marriage, you see all the wedding photos and these couples going on trips and doing all that. And everyone thinks like, oh, that's the kind of marriage or relationship that I want to be in, a happy-go-lucky. And it's like, but y'all don't see the work that's been going on.
Behind
You don't
the
see the
scenes,
right.
yeah.
The conversation that you had about finances, the conversations that you had about, hey, when you did this to me, I didn't appreciate that. You know, this is low. Being able to take two people from two different situations like us and being able to combine and to make it into one, that's a difficult choice. Like, it's a difficult obstacle, but we work together to be able to provide for that and live the life that we want to live.
Yeah.
So I think people always have to realize that marriage is great. It's what you make it. But there's also going to be some downfalls in it. So when those downfalls come, you cannot just want to be quick to, oh, I'm gonna cut this person off. I want to go your separate ways. You have to continue to work together. That's what builds character, builds adversity, and being able to make your relationship stronger. So,
Okay. You came with a word today.
He got his social work degree too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
For a person who was put on the spot. Okay. Yeah, because we did ask him last minute.
right.
and you stay ready, so you ain't got to get ready.
That part, I taught him well, just so y'all know.
So how do you guys feel about the transparency of your marriage, as far as, like, how much do you let people in, as far as, like, when you guys are having difficulties to, like, consult with, like, a family member or a counselor, or, you know what I mean? Like, when you have a wedding, they say the people at your wedding, that's your community, right?
Everybody,
like, those are your
95%
support.
of them people we don't
I'm a
even talk
courthouse
to.
baby. I will go to the courthouse and call it a day. But you know what I mean? Like, how does your community support your marriage?
Do they support it? Yes.
Well, how? Yeah.
It really depends. I have a very select few people who I share things with if, like, we're having a tough time or, like, really trying to figure something out, that I can count on one hand, and not even using all the fingers on that one hand who I would talk to outside of, like, a therapist, right? Because one, everybody ain't wishing you well, right?
Sure.
And two, like I said, 90% of the people that was at our wedding, we don't even talk to. Like, no one has called and checked in and say, hey, how's married life? Like, most of those people, like the elders and stuff like that, you know, if we happen to see them at a family function, then, you know, we get the regular cliche question, how's married life?
Yeah.
Married life is great. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Because where have you been the last couple years?
Right. And not to mention, I choose to make sure that my married life is great, right? I'm not harping on, like, any mishaps that we have, and I'm holding on to it all my life, right? I'm not doing that. Yeah. You know, and because I'll never forget, somebody was asked, they was like, you always say it's great, because it is.
Yeah, overall, because it's the bigger picture.
Yeah,
like, you
I'm
might
not
have
gonna
bad
take
moments.
This one little moment,
right,
and be like, oh, this shit terrible.
Right.
Like, no. On the grand scheme of things, it's great, because we make it where we want it to be, and we choose to have fun. But I'm not going to speak for the both of us, because Jarvis going to be talking to people like that, but I'm transparent with, like, a good 2-3 people in my circle that I know has my back and has Jarvis back, right? Not just saying, well, you my girl, so I got to side with you. No.
Right.
You was wrong. That man was right. Your husband was right. Go apologize or
go fix it. Exactly. Go do what you got to go do.
You know, or they can say, no, this is where both of y'all messed up at, and y'all need to go back to the table. And he'll tell you, because after I talk, it's usually my sister's my first go-to person, because she also a therapist, so it makes my life easier. But after I talk to her, I'll be like, okay, Jarvis, let's sit down, we got to talk. And he'll be like, who you just got the phone with? But the conversations, in my opinion, be beneficial sometimes, right?
Definitely is beneficial. Oh, it definitely helps out. It's good to be able to get an unbiased point of view from someone on the outside who also has your best interest at heart. So that way you can see it. They may see it from a viewpoint. You're like, oh, you know what? I didn't realize that. So it definitely gives you to be able to sit back and figure things out and be able to come back and be like, you know what? Hey, I didn't see it from this point of view. Someone brought this to my attention. You know, I didn't realize it made you feel this way, or this is what I was thinking. It wasn't intentional. Because there's going to be, what's the word I'm looking for? There may be some miscommunication or misinterpretation. Like I know I can say something, and the way she may take it something totally different, and it may make her feel a type of way or something like that, and be like, well, that wasn't my intention.
Yeah, and vice versa.
So now, right. So now I'm gonna be like, knowing me, I'm gonna be like, you thinking too much into it. You're trying to start arguing.
First thing
you be like, what you mean? Like now you invalidate my feelings.
And it made
that part.
And so now, I know me. I'm thinking, oh, that's what my initial reaction would be. Then after a time to think about it, or I'm like, you know what? I didn't realize that made you feel like that. So you know what? I apologize, or something like that. Like, then let me hear you out again, and this is what I can do, or come with a solution to the problem that we may have. So
I would say you are good with that, like, because in the beginning it was a little tough for him. He'd be like, "Why are you tripping? What are you talking about?" Like,
I feel like accountability is such a big part of communication, because people say communication, I'd be like, accountability with the communication,
and it gotta be like,
because you can talk and say a lot of nothing. I'd be like, you gotta take you have to comprehend, and you have to take accountability to own in order to see whatever the problem is actually change.
Exactly. And then it also takes guts. Like, you have to be able to, in vulnerability, to be able to tell that person, like, hey, I didn't like this, or I didn't do that. And that person has to be able to receive that information. Yeah. Because, you know, a lot of people, especially nowadays, well, I ain't mean like this, well, I ain't do it like that, you know what? And that's how you know that relationship, they refuse to take that accountability, and now they just going to push it off to the side or brush it away, and now the relationship is strained because no one wants to be able to take the accountability and vulnerability and be able to work to make things better. So you also have to be able to, and also being able to make that decision and live with it. You know, hey, you didn't do this. I'm calling you out on your BS, and that person has to be able to, and being able to live with that. They may be upset, but you know what? You know it's in the best interest of you all working together, and they may realize and be like, you know what? Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you. Or they may just say, you know what? They may float away.
And that's the whole thing. Like, if a person brings it to you, that means they care, in my opinion, right? Like, especially if they bring it to you a couple times, if they're trying to communicate a need.
And they bring it to you with care.
Not out of anger or hurt or anything. Right. And that's where I think some couples struggle, where, like, if they're very fragile with the feedback, then it becomes a defensive conversation. And now I'm pulling up something you did to try to deflect, and it kind of goes that way.
Yeah, because this ain't that. Now it's tit for tat at this point.
Right.
When you did this on September 31st and blah, blah, blah. You're like, what?
Yeah. When the goal should be working together to find a solution to the problem you brought to my attention.
Exactly.
And being secure in yourself. You also have to be able to know where your strengths and your weaknesses are. That way, you're able to have a partner who complements your weaknesses and strengths. So that way you also can work well. I think a lot of times people let their egos get in the way. And it's always, instead of when it's going tick for tat, it's always about, well, who's right and who's wrong. You know what? I'm right, I'm wrong. You know what? Y'all won. So both y'all wrong.
Right.
When she win, you win. Y'all both win. When he win, y'all both win. When she losing, y'all lose. When he lose, y'all lose. You have to be able to take that ego and selfish ways out of it, or I'm right in all this. Be able to look, you know what? I'm going to submit, let you do this. But you know what? That's going to make us both better.
Yep.
You know, a lot of people don't think of that, especially when it comes to relationships and marriages.
Yeah. She over here looking like a proud wife right now. She is over here speechless. She is over here speechless, looking at her man like, look at him. Like, okay, girl.
Cause I see you. But you said something, I want to dabble in this just for a hot, brief second. You said that the famous word that the podcast bros hate, I feel like, submit.
Ooh, yeah.
How do you feel like, okay, what is your opinion when it comes to submission in marriages? Just your opinion before I ask anything else. Hold me some more wine.
Yeah, go ahead, get some more.
This gonna be the long episode.
In my opinion, submission means to trust.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to trust your partner.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it means being able to submit. Like, you know what? I'm going to defer. There's nothing wrong with deferring some things to a person that may be more qualified or have more experience in that position as well. You know, we're always taught, oh, the man's supposed to be the provider. He's supposed to do this. The wife's supposed to be able to do the cooking and cleaning. Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? I may be a man. I may be a better cook than my wife.
Exactly.
You know what? That's call about.
She might not want to clean.
Right. She may be better at finances than I am.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm gonna let her handle the checkbook and doing all of that. You know, make sure the bills is all paid. You know what? Like you said, my wife is a little bit more handy than I am when it comes to working with tools and all that. So you know what? I'm gonna say, hey baby, you ain't gotta worry about that. We gonna pay for somebody a license, do it. They ain't gonna come out that way. You ain't gotta do it. You see, I know you can. They come out here ain't doing it wrong, then we can handle it. But you know what? I'm gonna take that burden off you. That way you don't feel like you have to do it. You know, it's also all about submitting. You have to be able to submit
to each other.
A lot of men, especially men, think that, the woman got to submit to me. No, you have to submit to her, but you both have to submit. You have your religion, submitting to God, submitting to the relationship. That means you both have to make sacrifices to make the betterment of your relationship or marriage. You know, I know a person that I worked with at one point, he was like, you know what? My wife was with me when I had nothing. He like, so she told me she wanted to go be a school teacher. He's like, you know what? I'm going to work 6 days a week, double up, do what I got to do to pay for her school so she could be a teacher. And he did it.
Yeah.
Submitting.
Yeah.
Submitted to the plan.
Right.
The plan.
To the mission.
And have a plan.
That part.
Have a plan. What is the purpose? What is the goal?
That
and
part.
is it in alignment together?
Exactly.
Yeah, that is a must.
Exactly. Because I think that's what a lot of people just forget in general in committed relationships and in marriages. Like, the goal is to submit to the actual mission. Like, that's the goal. Like, what are we trying to work towards?
I look at all relationships like that too. Like, what's the goal? What are we doing?
What is happening? Like, can we both, like he said, make those sacrifices so that it can happen? So if I'm better at this particular task, why not allow me to take the lead role and you fall back and just follow, the directives that's given that's going to make it work,
efficiently.
Smooth,
yeah.
Right? And vice versa. If it's once that mission is completed and we're now on the next one, and if he's better at that, I'm going to fall back and let him lead the mission, and I'm going to do whatever the directives are and go about my business, right? Like, but I think people in general, because I've seen women like this too, that they get too caught up on this idea of like, oh, you're trying to tell me what to do. That's not, baby. If that's what comes to your mind, that relationship is doomed.
Yeah.
Because that's not what it is.
You think they're referencing like controlling, like a
they're referencing that control aspect, and some of those men are trying to control too, and some women.
Yeah.
It's like, y'all ain't gonna get very far, and if y'all do, it's gonna be real rough trying to get there because it's too much of a control thing that's happening, and somebody trying to fight the control that don't need to be there when everybody could just be like, okay, this is the plan, this is everybody's parts based on your skill set,
basically,
and keep it moving.
Keep
it moving. How do you feel? I know you had a question about like social media.
Well, yeah, like, so how do you feel about social media impacting relationships as far as like the controlling aspect, right? Like, there's comments on who's liking whose pictures or who's following who, and what are you posting? What are you wearing? Are you, are you doing this for attention? That type of thing. How do you guys feel about that? Because, I mean, you guys are a social media couple. I'm sure you guys get feedback.
We do. And they be talking about me, talking about some why her butt in the camera. My man right here, so that's all that matters. Leave me alone. He told me my butt.
But he's secure. You know, a lot of people are not secure in themselves and say, I made that video with my wife. Like, what do you mean? Like, I was sitting there right there with her. So, but a lot of people aren't secure in themselves and say, like, we did this together. Like, I know what we're doing. You don't need to know what we're doing, but we secure over here and we're good.
Exactly. What you all just said. You have to be secure with yourself. I mean, you supposed to do whatever you want. That person was out here doing whatever. All you want them to do is just be a because they're a reflection of you. So if you aren't secure with what they're, that means you're not secure with yourself. So you worried about what other people gonna say or what other people gonna do. All that matters is what you two are thinking about. As long as you two have the back and the support of each other, you know, that's fine.
Right.
That's all that matters.
Right.
You know, I know, you know, like you said, we're a social media couple. I was a little nervous about it first. I didn't want to do it at all.
Yeah.
So it was like, then when we started doing it, I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? Now it's like you fully invested. Like, I like doing it. I'm like, hey, you want to do this? I'm always thinking of ideas, saying, like, hey, we do this, we do that. Like, I support it and I love it now.
Yeah.
You know, it's also like people that may have known me or run into me are like, you know, dang, I'm usually quiet, laid back and all. They be like, dang, you do talk. Like,
right. Everybody in his job. Oh, you talk? You got a voice?
Right. Like,
we saw you on there.
So it just gives, you know, you're able to show people a little bit more of personality that I do have. And that's all because of the comfort that I have and support and the security that I have with me and my wife. Like, I let her do her thing. You know,
I better get you one of these.
Always not. A lot of, like you said, a lot of people try to feel like out of control and do it. I may give advice and tell her like, hey, you able to do this. But one thing I don't try to do is control her. I always let her. One thing I try to pride myself on is giving her the freedom and safety to be herself.
Y'all heard that word, safety? Her. That is the key word. Safety.
That part. And he's very good at that. Safety. From day one. I can definitely give you
and not even a physical sense. I think it's emotional sense. Like emotional sense to be safe to be yourself. Yeah. I think that's the goal of the relationship, to be like safe to be yourself with this person.
Exactly. Because you can only hide a facade or do all that for so long.
I came out the door with being a nut job.
And he embraced you just the way you are.
He did. That's why I had to marry him.
I calmed her down. Look, I was like...
He's like, look, simmer down. He did what he pat you on the head, like, calm down.
Oh, okay. No, I can't do that right now. Can't go cuckoo? Okay.
Simmer down.
All right, fine. No, I love it. But he is genuine with that, and I can appreciate it. And it'd be crazy because it'd be some stuff that we do or think about that don't make it to social media that he'd be like, go ahead, do it. And I'd be like, I don't know if I want to post that because I ain't ready for the critics or the whatever. So it's like, y'all would be surprised. People is always surprised who really...
Who's the one pushing the button on that? Like, that was Jarvis over there stirring the pot.
It's definitely me.
That really be surprised.
It's definitely me.
I just got to his level of pushing the buttons. I still be like,
he be like, piss him off.
I don't care. I'm like, okay.
But that's support that you need, because you know you're pushing each other. I think that challenge part too of like, that's how you grow. You're challenging each other in areas that, you know, like you said, deficits that you have. You weren't as like comfortable doing that. She pushed you, and now you pushing her back.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Pushing the crowd. All right. Any last questions or last words for the audience?
I don't know. You've been having some gems, Jarvis. We gonna leave it with you, Jarvis.
Any last pieces of gems you want to give to the audience, the listeners?
Just do you, be you, live your truth. Speak your truth, live with the results, and do all that. Work hard, play hard. Life will be fine. Though there's always going to be trials and tribulation. All that matters is that you continue to go through it. And that's in every aspect of your life, whether it's work, relationships, marriage, relationship with parents, friends, family. There's always going to be trials and tribulation. Just continue to work through it, push through it, and things will work itself out.
All right, now y'all heard the word from the man.
Okay.
The man from the street. I'm just playing. All right, y'all. Well, it was such a joy having you on here. We know we put you on the spot, but you
I was gonna say
your
it was great. I was gonna
Thank
say
y'all
it was
for
great
having me.
having you.
You did your big one, my
Big
boy.
one.
I try to help out, you
Try to
know.
help out a little bit. This is how he support me. He just pops up. I be like, oh, can you do this? Okay.
And
Are you
that's
free?
what you
Okay.
need. That's what you need.
Exactly. You need
I
some
like
vocals, I can do
I be
that.
a
I
fly on
can't
the
sing,
wall.
I can help you out. Look, I'm gonna do what I gotta do to support my baby.
Aw.
So
Black
Y'all
boy.
heard him. All right, y'all. As always, follow us on all social media platforms at Why Me Please Podcast. Share the episode with your mama, sister, cousin, brother, uncle, family, friends, all that good stuff. Y'all know what it is. We're not just a podcast for tea. So why me please? And don't forget, if you want our advice, send us an email to advice@whymepleasepodcast.com.